Just another little shot of the completed battery here. As I was saying, still a couple of little jobs I need to do. First one is to finish off here, putting the bits of aluminium tube, as I was saying, on there to hook all these top cells here back to this terminal block. The spaces in there for them. Just got to bring them back down with a bit of that nice panel trunking. And you can see the cell joints here and the end plates. Try and get a bit of light on the subject there. Hopefully be able to see it. Each of these external cell joints here has got an M6 Nord lock on it onto the twin copper plates, and each one has got the little monitoring tab on it there with a 2 amp fuse. That's it's a DC spec on it, and it's just in case there's any kind of shorts or that. So hope to be able to see the plate on there, happy enough. Standard stainless M6 bolts holding that on there. And little monitoring tabs here, each one has a cell number on it. Our main service disconnect switch. It's just bolted down to the aluminium angle. It's our 400 amp fuse for the main traction circuit. There's a second one of those fuses up front. And you can see hopefully in there how the end bars there have to hook down to the main pack. It's all tied down to the vehicle by this uni-strut system here with the little fittings for that. And the big difference with this pack is basically power and weight. This pack comes in at about 95 kilos, I think, or sorry, it'd be about 100 kilos actually, with the bit of Delrin in there. It's 152 volts, about 12.5 kilowatt hours, as against probably half of that energy available out of the 120 volt AGM pack with 365 kilograms. So it's completely transformed the car, the handling, the power, speed, acceleration, everything. The big difference, we crawl underneath here and be seen, hopefully be seen, in our springs. You see the amount of travel. Let's see that one a bit better actually. In each spring. These are the standard factory springs that the car came with, and in the appearance of the springs and the suspension arms here, this car is at about factory height. I think she's a bit below it actually. I'll have to take her to the A bridge and check that out. But these springs were, even with the helpers in there that I had, the towing springs, these were seriously pushed down by all the little lead acid. So I took out those helper springs and we're just back to the normal factory springs in here now. And so as you can see, big difference to the entire car. Do a couple of test drives as soon as possible, be able to film that. Need to do a little bit of a better job with these traction cables. I think they are in the steel conduit, which is good, and thus far I haven't had any problem with it. I'd feel a little bit happier if they were tucked in, so it's probably another job for me. Okay, all of the cells here are hitting 3.4 volts, pretty much spot on timing. So just moving the multimeter probes across the block here. Another gas guzzler approaching. It's going across all the cells. Are currently on a 10 amp charge. And these cells are different sources purchased at different times. And in theory, it shouldn't be very well balanced at all. I'm sure if I start pushing them up the charge curve much beyond this, I won't be too happy. But the question I would be asking is, how much energy is there beyond, let's say, 3.45 volts per cell? This is a whole cell, single cell that seems to be standing out from the others, so I can bring that up with a charger or a power supply even. Going on to the rest of them. Done across 48 of these tends to get a bit boring. But I'd rather think that at this stage I can get them to behave themselves without a BMS. That would be a good idea. I think by hitting the CV point here before any of them decide to take off into the sunset. Oh, sorry, that was got a bad connection there. Thought I'd screwed up for a second. Yeah, they all seem to be around the 3.441 scenario now. Running across the block here. Just running across the block with the probes. Each of these tails has a 2 amp fast blow fuse on it. So if there's any kind of short circuits, can't cause any kind of fires or problems with it. Really starting to get a pain in my hand now. Oh, I got a bad connection. Oh, I just came to the end of the block actually. Okay. So that's the end of the block. That is our battery. See the little tails there. Each one has a, say, a little 2 amp fuse on each terminal, just so we don't cause any kind of heating effect if we get a short out in this terminal block here. So each one has a tail going to it. The back of this trunking. Just have to do the tails for the top hat pack then, but they're easy to get to, so I haven't bothered doing that yet. And our service disconnect and rear traction fuse here. I'm still waiting for a bit of aluminium tube to come in so I can finish tying down the pack here. So I have to put some tubing over that threaded rod. Tighten down those bolts then and pull it all tight. The aluminium 50 by 50 by 5, I think, aluminium angle in the middle there certainly has done the trick.